Hey, this is going to be sad, so if you don't do sadness, not even a little bit, if you don't need it in your life, you don't want any part of it, I'm going to put a link to the doggies tag from my blog in the description. You can check that out. It's great. I live for it. I love dogs. You can enjoy them. There are so many different kinds of dogs, and it's great. I highly recommend it. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. It's been a little while, and the primary reason why it's been a little while is because, you know, life gets crazy. And it's just stuff, there's just stuff, you know, getting a job in this economy. Ugh. But also, I have hella depression. About halfway through last year, actually about this time last year, I started thinking about killing myself a lot more than one would recommend. Again, I said this was going to be sad. It's only going to get worse. So I started thinking about killing myself a lot more than one should do. I thought I was just sort of having some tough days. You know, everybody has tough days, but then the tough days turned into tough weeks, and the tough weeks turned into tough months, and it was just really bad. And on the days where I didn't feel just really bad, I felt really numb. I didn't feel anything, or if I did feel something, it would be like a really sort of shallow feeling, very, very surface, and it would only last for like a couple of minutes, and then it would be gone, and I'd be back to sort of numbness, which also would not recommend. Don't do it. 0 out of 10. Because I used to be a person who felt very deeply, like very deep feelings, right? I was an emotional person. Like I cried when it was really pretty outside, and I cried if I had like a cookie that was just really good. Oh my god, I've had food that's been so good. Like you ever had just like mango and it just like makes you weep? I got to a point where I wasn't just sort of vaguely thinking about killing myself so much as I was like picking out specific ways that I wouldn't do it, because then it would be too messy, because I'm a really considerate person. I don't want somebody to have to clean up my sad dead body, at least like not too badly. That was the point where I was like, hey, you know what? I should probably do that thing that they always say in those after school specials and get some help. And that's what I did. I went to my friendly neighborhood LGBTQIA center, which we have in my city because it's kind of a big city, and I would recommend it if you are also broke like I am. I am broke. I went there and I set up a thing with people. They set me up with a therapist, and I told her what was going on in my life. I was mostly just saying that I was fine, and then I would start crying. I would cry. Oh my god, it was embarrassing. It's really embarrassing when I think back about it now. I'm like, oh my god, I cried so much. It was just me like going into her office. She'd be like, hey, how are you doing? And I just like started sobbing. And the therapist suggested I go to a psychiatrist, so I went to the psychiatrist and I told the psychiatrist everything that was going on. I told her the same stuff I told the therapist, and she said, well, you know, you have major depression there, buddy. And I said, no. I ran 6 miles this morning. I prepped all of my meals for this week. I cleaned the entire apartment. I drank so much water. I just want to kill myself a lot of the time. That's not a big deal. But it turns out it is a big deal. A psychiatrist suggested I go on a series of medications. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that medication is the answer for everyone. I'm not saying it's a cure-all. I'm not saying that medication is just going to make you happy and sunny and puppies licking your face, and that's not what happened for me. That might happen for you, I don't know. But for me, it just made it so I don't get devastatingly sad on a regular basis. Sometimes I still get very sad, but it's not nearly as bad as it was before. My thing is, I was basing my understanding of depression on a very specific model, and we shouldn't do that with mental illness, because depression for me looks like running 6 miles a day, 4 days a week, doing meal prep, eating lots of good foods, like vegetables, I guess, vegetables and legumes, drinking like a lot of water, and still being devastatingly sad. Like that, for me, is depression. For other people, it might be not being able to get out of bed. It might be like not being able to, you know, make themselves do tasks that for me wouldn't be super difficult, but for them is like moving a mountain. Mental illness can and does look different in every person. Just because your symptoms don't necessarily reflect the image of the popular Tumblr post going around right now doesn't mean that you don't have this disorder. Even if you do perfectly reflect this popular Tumblr post going around saying, oh, this is what depression is, or this is what anxiety is, that doesn't mean that your symptoms are less valid just because they look exactly like this, or it doesn't make them any more valid because they look exactly like that. A lot of the time, mental illness is an invisible thing. So like, just because I may be like out enjoying or seemingly enjoying like a 6-mile sprint in the park, it doesn't mean I'm not devastatingly sad. It doesn't mean I'm not having a terrible day. It just means that I'm making my body do this thing, and you know, that's basically it. Or just because someone looks like they're just sort of calmly standing in a room full of people, that doesn't mean they're not like hella anxious. So we shouldn't base our understanding of mental illness on one model, because it's different. It's different for everybody, and we should understand and accept and respect that fact. That was sad. So, hey, I'm going to be at VidCon for some reason in a couple of days, I guess now. Yeah, if you see me at VidCon, you can come up and say hi. I'm an extrovert, so I'll be all about it. Or you can look at me awkwardly from across the room. People love to do that too. That's fine.